Imagine an absolute void. In the silence of the womb, just 3 weeks after conception, there are no thoughts, no memories, and no language. What exists is a cluster of cells in frenetic activity, following an invisible blueprint. At this point, the brain, that structure we consider the command center, is barely an open channel, a sketch of tissue that doesn't emit a single coherent electrical signal. It is turned off. Something incredible happens around day 22 after conception. Without prior warning, without an order from the nervous system, and without a single neuron dictating the instruction, a small mass of mesodermal tissue begins to contract. It is a rhythmic spasm, a spontaneous electrical spark that gives rise to the first heartbeat. This moment is, biologically speaking, the Big Bang of individual life. Before you can see, hear, or process a single piece of data from the outside world, your heart has already decided that life has begun. We've always been told that the human body functions like a high-tech computer where the brain is the central processor. However, embryology presents us with a paradox that challenges this logic. How can the hardware run if the software hasn't been installed yet? The heart activates autonomously around day 22 after conception. It possesses its own internal pacemaker. It doesn't wait for nerves to arrive from the head to begin its work. In fact, it is the heart that starts pumping the blood necessary for the brain to develop months later. Although basic structures form early on, the brain does not reach true functional complexity until much later in the gestation process. Consciousness, the senses, and systemic management take months to connect. This is where science brushes against the sacred. If the brain were truly the one in charge, it should be the first to turn on to manage the construction of the rest of the organism. But that is not the case. The heart takes the initiative. This suggests that the heart is not simply a pump made of muscular tissue. It is the anchor. It is the nest built first so that the soul, the essence, or the vital energy has a place to land. It is as if life knows that to build the temple, the body, the fire must first be lit upon the altar, the heart. That heartbeat around day 22 after conception is the signal that the inhabitant has arrived, long before the computer of the brain is ready to process the physical experience. This first heartbeat is not merely biological. It is a declaration of existence. It is the heart saying, "I am here. Now we can begin to build the rest." It is the only organ that works without rest from that 22nd day until the very last second of our stay on this plane, proving that its authority is prior to, superior to, and more resilient than any rational process the brain can generate later. Once we understand that the heart is the leading actor on the stage of life, the question arises, how did we lose this truth along the way? While modern science rediscovers cardiac autonomy, sacred scriptures, philosophers, and great authors already knew that truth is not processed with neurons, but with heartbeats. In many ancient texts, the heart is not a muscle. It is an organ of vision. The Bible mentions the heart more than 800 times. In Proverbs 4:23, the warning is clear. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Furthermore, in Samuel 16:7, we are reminded of the divine hierarchy. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Here, it is established that the true identity of a being is neither their appearance nor their intellect, but their cardiac core. The Quran suggests that the heart has the capacity to understand and reason in a way that the brain cannot. In Surah 22:46, a powerful question is posed. Have they not traveled through the land and have hearts by which to reason and ears by which to hear? For indeed, it is not eyes that are blinded, but blinded are the hearts which are within the breasts. This is a direct, scientific, and spiritual statement. True blindness is the lack of cardiac perception. The heart is what understands deep reality. In ancient Egypt, during mummification, the brain was discarded, but the heart was preserved. In the final judgment, the deceased's heart was weighed against the feather of truth. It wasn't the IQ being weighed, but the purity of the soul's nest. The great Greek philosopher Aristotle was adamant. The heart is the central organ, the seat of intelligence and vital heat. He described the heart as the sun of our internal system, while the brain was merely a secondary mechanism for balancing temperature. A book that has managed to translate this hierarchy into a universal language is The Little Prince. The most famous phrase from this book is, "In reality, a biological and spiritual law. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." The brain is useful for the mundane, but for what truly matters, for what makes us human, the brain is blind. It needs the heart to see the truth. Humanity has always known that primary intelligence is cardiac. The heart is the one that knows. The brain is the one that learns. The heart is the one that is. The brain is the one that translates. In the era of technology, we have grown accustomed to viewing the human body as a cutting-edge biological machine. We have been taught that the brain is the operating system. But if this were true, we would be facing an inexplicable design flaw. Why is the operating system installed months after the machine has already been powered on? Science tells us that we are brain-centric. However, embryology refutes this power hierarchy. If the brain were the conductor of the orchestra, it should be the first instrument to be tuned in order to direct the formation of the lungs, the liver, and the limbs. But that is not the case. The heart appears around day 22 because life is not a mathematical calculation. Life is an impulse of energy. The heart is not a piece of hardware. It is the generator that allows the hardware to exist. Why does the brain arrive late? Its function is not to create life, but to organize the experience within the physical world. The brain is a translation tool. The heart is the center of intention. It knows that you want to live, to beat, and to expand. That is why it is the soul's nest. The soul needs a motor, not a data processor, to enter into matter. The brain is the center of execution. It arrives later to build the senses, language, and logic. Its job is to help you navigate the world once the heart has already established that you are alive. Humanity has lived under the notion, I think, therefore I am. But biological reality tells us something different. You beat, therefore you are. The heart does not need the brain to beat. It has its own intrinsic nervous system, the little brain in the heart. In contrast, the brain dies within minutes if the heart decides to stop sending it fuel. Who is truly in charge? The one who arrives first to build the house, or the one who arrives at the end to turn on the lights? Furthermore, the heart is the most powerful energy generator in your organism. Science has confirmed that its electric field is about 60 times greater in amplitude than that of the brain. But its magnetic field is up to 5,000 times more powerful. This field expands in the shape of a toroid and can be measured up to 3 meters away. Before someone understands your thoughts, they are already reading the magnetic vibration emitted by your chest. Experiments have been conducted where the heart reacts seconds before an image appears on a screen. The heart feels the future. It is the explorer, while the brain is the chronicler. We have been told that to manifest a desire, we must visualize it, a brain function. However, thought by itself has a very small electrical charge. The true magic happens when that thought descends to the heart and becomes a feeling. The thought is the electrical signal you send to the quantum field. The feeling is the magnetic charge that attracts the experience toward you. You attract what you vibrate, not what you think. When you manage to make your brain surrender to the rhythm of the heart, you stop chasing your dreams and allow your magnetism to bring them to you. Just as that first heartbeat attracted all the matter necessary to form your body. We often live trapped in the noise of the brain. But today we have remembered that the brain is a late guest. If the heart was capable of creating your entire physical body from a single beat on day 22 after conception, without the help of reason or logic, what is it not capable of now to create the life you dream of? The mystery of the first heartbeat teaches us that life is feeling before it is thought. The next time you feel lost, remember this sacred order. Silence the mind. Turn off, for a moment, that operating system that arrived late. Go down to the heart. Return to that nest where your soul first landed. Feel the gratitude of existing. Activate that magnetic magnet with 5,000 times more power. You do not think your way into life. You beat your way through it. Your heart knew who you were long before you learned to say your name. Learn to listen to it, because in that first beat lies the secret of who truly rules your body.
No thoughts in the void, Just life in the making, a silent blueprint, a heart soon awaken on day 22. A spark starts the fire, the first beat of life, a rhythmic desire, a biological big bang, spontaneous and free. Before you can see, your heart says, I'll be. The brain only translates what the heart sees aright, an organ of vision, the source of the light. From Egypt to Proverbs, the truth is the same. The heart is the master that carries your name. The brain arrives late to translate the light, but only the heart sees the essence aright. Ancient and sacred, the I am begins. The heart is the master before logic wins.